Hello. Today I'd like to share with you how I watch a youth soccer game. My perspective on the game largely depends on the age of the children that I'm observing. For instance, if I'm watching a U8 game, my goal is to see how the children are playing just inside the areas of the field. I'm not very focused on the score or the outcome. That can change based on the ages of the children, whether they're 10, 12, or even professionals. But as I watch youth, it's critical to have the right perspective. You will find that in youth sports, the bigger, stronger, and faster kids dominate in the younger age groups. However, as they approach puberty, the other kids start to catch up in the areas of speed and size, and their focus on skill development at the early age groups allows them to surpass the bigger, stronger, and faster kids. It's at this confluence that we see many kids quit sports. The ones who relied on their God given strengths and did not fully develop their technical and tactical understanding, they start to lose confidence. And what you'll then see is them quitting or changing sports. Uh, we've all seen the scenario where there's a free kick in a youth game, and the biggest kid on the field steps up and kicks a laser into the upper part of the goal over our 3'6" goalie, and now we're down 1-0. Well, this can happen multiple times over the game, and the next thing you know, you're down 3-1, 4-1, or whatever the case might be. Does that really mean that the other team is 3 or 4 goals better than us? Um, I think it's important to ignore the scoreboard in many of these situations and just watch how well the children are trying to play in between the two penalty areas. Are they working together? Are they playing hard? Are they winning tackles? Are they completing passes? These are the kinds of things that we need to look at. Don't get me wrong, I'm probably the most competitive person you'll ever meet. However, I'm not looking for the game score at the end or whatever it is that we sometimes do to measure outcome. My ego is not that big when it comes to children and outcomes of games. Um, One of the things I think you're going to witness is this: our teams may struggle at the beginning of the season, but they will continue to progress in their development as the season goes on. This progression will probably not be quite as fast as you might like. However, it's a very clear cut process. I've seen it play out over and over and over again. And the good news is that every level, my teams have always done really, really well as they progress throughout the season and throughout their careers. One of the things to note, for instance, last year, as I went to my first game with my U8 boys, we had no idea what to expect. It was a new team, it was a new opponent, and it was a whole new concept for them playing in a game with 5 boys on the field all at the same time. The game started, and after a few minutes of back and forth play, all of a sudden, little Grant took over the game. And by the end of the game, he probably had 5 or 6 goals. We won by a handful of goals, and all the kids were happy and jumping up and down. However, guess what I did? I moved Grant to the U9 because I felt his dominance was not appropriate for those children in that age group. What I wanted to see was I wanted to see all of our players um, working hard to dominate, not to dominate, but to be impactful in the game, getting challenged, facing adversity, and growing. Growing takes place when kids are faced with adversity. If they relied on a dominant player the whole game, they're not going to grow. So it's important for us to recognize, just how much we're challenging the kids and how much they're growing. At the end of the year, I think it was really, really cool to watch just how much those kids had developed. Ask any parent on that U18 from last year what it was like to watch their kids over the course of the year. And I think every one of them will tell you the same thing. It was amazing. And so, those are the kinds of things that we want to look for. Um, Finally, as we start to think about the games, um, I don't think any of us have ever witnessed a referee begin to call the game more favorably for our team when our parents are screaming and yelling at them for bad calls. It just doesn't happen that way. So what I ask for you is, please be kind to the referees, be kind to the opponents, be kind to the opponent parents, and just make it a fun, positive experience. And I think that way, everyone will really, really enjoy being a part of these events. Thank you so much.